you're one of the millions really trying to navigate this daily challenge with blood sugar, maybe trying to manage it, or even prevent type 2 diabetes,
Uh-huh.
you know how frustrating this gets.
Oh, absolutely.
You feel like you're making good choices, right? Cutting back on the obvious sweets, but then your blood sugar is still spiking and you can't figure out why.
And, that confusion isn't accidental. It's often by design, frankly. The food industry is, well, brilliant at marketing.
Right.
So many of the biggest culprits for metabolic inflammation, those fast glucose spikes, they're hidden behind these misleading slogans. Or they're just hiding in plain sight as everyday items.
That's exactly the problem we're tackling today. We've done a real deep dive into the research here, focusing on what the science actually says about foods that, look appealing, look delicious.
Covered in those labels.
Exactly. Screaming low fat or whole grain, but they're secretly doing damage. We really need to get past that surface level.
And that's our mission here. We want to give you basically the ultimate shortcut to being properly informed, to identify the specific things, the ingredients, the products causing that immediate chaos in your system. Because awareness and then making consistent, smart choices, that's really your best defense. It helps you avoid these complications that are honestly often preventable.
Okay, let's unpack it then. Let's start right at the core mechanism. This high-speed sugar delivery system. Refined carbohydrates.
Yeah, the danger here isn't just the sugar itself. It's the speed. The speed that sugar hits your bloodstream and the fact that there's no safety brake anymore.
So like white bread, white rice.
Yeah.
Pasta from refined flour.
Exactly those. They've been mechanically stripped, basically. The natural fiber, a lot of the essential nutrients, gone.
So if that fiber is gone, what actually happens when you eat them?
Well, there's nothing left to slow the process down. They break down almost instantly into glucose.
Instantly. Wow.
Which puts them really high on the glycemic index, the GI scale, and delivering sugar that fast. One source we looked at described it perfectly. It's like throwing gasoline on a small flame. Internal chaos.
That makes sense. That rapid surge must force your pancreas into, emergency mode.
Totally. It releases this huge rush of insulin to try and cope. And that sudden, intense demand, that's what wears the system down over time.
Which leads to the crash afterwards, right? The fatigue.
Exactly. The crash, the fatigue, and eventually that cell fatigue, which defines insulin resistance and ultimately type 2 diabetes.
Okay. So if speed is the main problem, our sources flagged, 10 common food categories that are like these high-speed vehicles for glucose?
Yeah, they did. It's kind of a sad list of modern convenience, really. Sugary drinks, white bread, processed snacks, fried foods, candies, pastries, sweetened cereals, fast food, processed meats, and high-sugar desserts.
It really covers a lot of typical diets.
It does. And it leads us right into our next section, focusing on the ultra-processed food danger zone, or UPFs. This is where the data, it just becomes impossible to ignore.
Right, and we're drawing on some serious research here.
Oh, yeah. We pulled key insights from a huge analysis. It was 30 years of Harvard Medical School research tracking the diets of over 190,000 people. So long-term data showing the real impact.
30 years. Okay, so what was the big takeaway?
The conclusion was just stark. The top 20% of people in the study, the ones eating the most ultra-processed foods, they had a staggering 40% higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes.
40%. Just from processed foods.
40% higher risk.
Yeah.
When you see a number that big, you have to ask, okay, what specific UPFs are driving that risk?
Did the study break that down?
It did, actually. It isolated the 4 absolute worst culprits for T2D risk.
Okay, let's hear them. The 4 worst offenders.
All right, in order of highest risk contribution, number 1, various sauces.
Sauces, really? Above instant meals or soda?
Yep, sauces number 1. Then instant or ready meals. Number 3, sweetened beverages, no surprise there. And number 4, refined bread.
Okay, I have to say, sauces being number 1, that's the biggest shock for me, the sauce shock, like you said.
It's the ultimate hidden trap, isn't it? People think they're doing well, making a home-cooked meal.
Right, cooking from scratch.
But then they load it up with condiments, dressings, sauces that are just packed with concentrated sugar and sodium. And both of those directly contribute to raising your HbA1c.
And just to remind everyone, HbA1c, that's the key measure for long-term blood sugar control, right? Like the average over 3 months.
Exactly. That's the one. High sodium, especially combined with all the hidden sugars in many, many sauces, it pushes that HbA1c marker higher. It's a sort of silent stressor on your whole metabolic system.
The source material had this incredible comparison. Just 2 small spoonfuls of a really common Korean dipping sauce, samjang,
Huh?
contains the same amount of sugar as an entire stick of instant coffee mix.
Yeah.
I mean, I would never think that little bowl of sauce could pack that much sugar. That detail alone just shows how hidden this danger really is.
It really does. And it proves you have to check those labels
Yeah.
religiously. Even something simple like ketchup, the variation is huge. We saw brands ranging from maybe 4 grams of sugar per 100 grams all the way up past 20 grams.
50 grams.
Yeah. Generally, the more flavor, the more additives, the higher that metabolic risk.
Okay. And right behind sauces on that list were instant foods. So ramen, frozen pizza, those ready meals like tteokbokki.
Yeah, these foods are defined by convenience, right? Which means they have to be hyper-processed to have that shelf life and quick preparation time. So they're inherently high in refined carbs, sugar, sodium, the works.
And the data showed a direct link there too.
A very direct link. Consuming just 10% more of these kinds of highly processed instant foods daily, that increased type 2 diabetes risk by 12%.
Just a 10% increase leads to a 12% higher risk.
Exactly. So cutting back on instant foods, that's probably one of the fastest ways to lower both your diabetes risk and chronic inflammation.
Okay. This brings us nicely to section 3, where things get, I think, really fascinating. The deceptive healthy traps. Foods people often genuinely believe are good for them.
Yes. And the biggest surprise for most people here, dried fruit.
Wait, dried fruit, but isn't fruit generally good? You know, natural sugar and all that?
Fruit is good in its whole form, absolutely.
Yeah.
But the concentration factor with dried fruit is just massive.
How so?
Well, when you dry the fruit, you remove the water. All that water weight is gone. So what's left is this dramatically concentrated amount of sugar and calories in a much smaller package.
Ah, I see. So you eat the same volume but get way more sugar.
Precisely. You end up consuming a huge sugar load without the volume that normally tells your brain you're full.
Our sources had a really striking comparison for this too, didn't they? With bananas.
They did. 100 grams of fresh banana. That's about 92 calories.
Okay.
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 But take that same 100 grams of dried banana chips, and you're looking at around 600 calories.
600. That's more than a 6-fold increase. From what seems like a light, healthy snack.
It's wild, isn't it? It's just a direct, high-concentration glucose hit to your system.
Okay, so dried fruit is a trap. What else falls into this category?
Another area to really scrutinize involves processed fats and meats. Think about fried foods, French fries, onion rings, fried chicken.
The usual suspects.
Right. They're often loaded with trans fats, hydrogenated oils, things that spike your bad cholesterol, but also seriously increase insulin resistance.
So they make your body less responsive to its own insulin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which just worsens the cardiovascular risks that are already higher for people with diabetes.
And then there were the processed meats, bacon, sausages, deli slices.
Yeah, those are problematic too. They often contain nitrates, huge amounts of sodium, preservatives, all things that really kick inflammation into overdrive.
And the sodium causes water retention too, right? Stressing the heart and kidneys.
Precisely. Organs that are often already under pressure if someone has existing diabetes. So a double whammy.
Okay, what about dairy? Is that generally safe or are there traps there too?
We have to talk about sweetened dairy and artificial additives here. So, plain Greek yogurt, generally fantastic, high in protein, very beneficial.
Good.
BUT. Those convenient sweetened versions. You know, the ones with the fruit jam or puree swirled in at the bottom.
Yeah, the ones marketed as easy breakfasts or snacks.
Those can cause major blood sugar spikes, even if you're eating them thinking you're having a healthy meal replacement. The added sugar is significant.
And what about the diet versions? Things like diet sodas or yogurts using artificial sweeteners? They promise 0 sugar.
Yes. The artificial sweetener question. While they don't contain actual glucose, so they don't directly raise blood sugar in the moment, they can still confuse your body's metabolism.
Confuse it how?
Well, your brain registers that intense sweetness.
Right.
And it kind of primes your system, expecting a sugar load that never actually arrives.
Okay.
This disruption can, paradoxically, trigger future sugar cravings. And there's growing evidence it might interfere with your insulin response over time, which is already potentially impaired.
And didn't the sources also mention gut bacteria?
Yes, absolutely. Artificial sweeteners have been shown to disrupt the delicate balance of your gut microbiome, which plays a huge role in overall metabolic health. So not as consequence-free as they seem.
This all really paints a picture. It leads us to section 4, thinking about choosing the right fuel. I liked the analogy we came across. Your body is like an engine.
It's a great analogy. And everything we've just described, the refined sugars, the fried oils, the additives, that's like putting cheap, low-grade fuel into a high-performance engine.
Right. What happens then?
Well, you get those short, volatile bursts of energy, sure. But they're followed inevitably by rapid crashes, fatigue, mood swings, and just a general metabolic decline over time. The convenience is the trap. It's a really poor long-term investment in your health.
Because the real cost,
Right.
it isn't what you pay at the checkout, is it?
Not at all. The real price is paid later. In medical bills, medication costs, chronic fatigue, and potentially severe complications like nerve damage, kidney damage, heart disease, vision problems.
That's the 40% higher risk the Harvard study talked about.
Exactly. We're literally talking about the metabolic cost, the health surcharge imposed by that ultra-processed diet, investing in whole, unprocessed foods. That is the real investment in long-term health and vitality.
Okay, so let's flip the script. Let's talk about the allies. The foods that actually help control T2D risk, also highlighted by that same Harvard research.
Yes, let's focus on the positive choices. First category, fruits. But specifically, the right kind. We're talking low GI fruits eaten in their whole form. Think blueberries, apples, pears.
Not dried, not juiced, whole fruit.
Whole fruit is key. And these fruits have their own beneficial mechanisms. Blueberries, for instance, contain anthocyanins. These are compounds known to actually increase insulin sensitivity.
Oh, interesting. So they help your body use insulin better.
Correct. And apples and pears. They're rich in pectin, which is a type of soluble fiber. That fiber physically slows down the rate at which sugar is absorbed into your bloodstream.
It acts like that natural brake we talked about earlier.
Exactly. And the payoff is real. The data showed that consistently eating these specific whole fruits, like apples or pears 5 days a week, was linked to a 20% reduced risk of developing type 2 diabetes.
20% reduction. That's huge for such a simple dietary choice.
It really is. Secondly, an easy swap. Ditch the white bread, the refined stuff, and switch to whole grain bread.
Because it keeps the fiber.
It keeps that crucial fiber intact, which, again, slows down glucose absorption and significantly helps lower T2D risk. Simple, but effective.
Okay. And finally, what about dairy? We talked about the sweetened trap, but what's the good side?
Plain yogurt and dairy can be allies. Plain Greek yogurt, especially for its high protein content. The study actually reinforced the idea that dairy-based snacks or even desserts like plain yogurt topped with berries and nuts are beneficial.
That sounds pretty good, actually.
Yeah, and specifically, eating plain yogurt as an afternoon snack was linked to helping curb excessive eating later in the evening or at night.
Oh, that's a great tip. Managing nighttime eating is tough.
It is. So that simple yogurt snack can be a great habit for better blood sugar management overall. Even low-fat milk can contribute positively when consumed in moderation as part of a balanced dairy intake.
Okay, so let's try to wrap this up. The core message seems to be avoiding these things. The sugar bomb in dried fruit, the overload from instant meals, the hidden sugars and salt in sauces, isn't about punishment, is it?
Not at all. It's about protection. Powerful protection for your long-term health.
And the goal isn't necessarily instant perfection overnight.
Definitely not. It's about consistency, awareness, actually reading ingredient labels, every single one, making conscious choices, like choosing brown rice instead of white, or baking instead of frying.
And implementing small substitutions that add up.
Exactly. Even just replacing sugary sodas with water infused with lemon or mint. That's a small step, but it leads to massive metabolic improvement over time.
It really drives home that idea. Every single meal is a trade-off, a powerful one.
It is. You're either paying now with a bit more money or effort for clean, protective nutrition.
Or you'll inevitably pay later with your health, your energy, your vitality.
Yeah. And maybe that leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener, to carry forward. Think about this. If so many of these dangerous processed foods are literally engineered by manufacturers to be addictive, to override your natural fullness signals,
Right.
what one daily habit can you engineer deliberately, specifically to break that cycle, to protect your future health? Start there. Just one thing.